I can be old, totally young and insane. I do the Grinch. It's always been a playground for me. I've done it since I was a little kid, and my mother used to scold me for looking at myself in the mirror too much, but I was really just playing, you know, just looking for things and characters. It's a wonderful combination when I get with brilliant people like Industrial Light and Magic, and they take it to that place. I can match them, you know, in my way. I can bring that expertise to it, and they get something to jump off and play with. I can create anything I want to. I could be a doll. I could be a puppet. You know? One time, right after The Mask came out, I put a rubber version of The Mask on, and I answered my door for Halloween and gave out candy, and people had no idea that they were actually being given candy by the real Mask. And that's how I get my kicks.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Peter Weir cast me because I was at that time in my career when I was, you know, exploding and trying to deal with what that means and feels like. I've always visualized and affirmed in the universe that I would be doing not only things that free people from concern, but things that warn people. I feel like a lighthouse keeper sometimes, and that one as well was a way to define what we're all going through. We have to face the abyss and our fear, and there's always a point in your life where you have to jump into that water and you have to not know what the other side is. And if you do, you can really win in a big way. It just kept, these metaphors, these allegories kept just exploding out of it. The aspect of your parents, what they want for you, what the world wants for you, what they suggest you be. Everybody's the Truman Show. Everybody has their own bubble, you know, and their subscriber channel and whatever. And if you like this, you know, please hit the button below.
It was so much traffic. It took me an hour and a half to get here. But talking about the terrible things, my wife, take my wife, please take her.
I think, first of all, you're cast because there is a part of you that is that character. It is the best directors in the world, Milos Forman, of course. You know, he sees you and he goes, there's an aspect of this person that is absolutely Andy Kaufman.
I'm not afraid of you.
Andy, you have to work. You have to work now.
He doesn't scare me.
Andy, you are here to work.
Andy. Hey, go.
Andy.
Is that how you talk from Memphis, Tennessee, Mr. Lawler, huh? How's that how you talk?
Andy, you have to give me a chance to make a movie. You have to give me a chance to make a movie.
I don't need to make a movie. I don't need to make a movie.
I
want a shot at him. That's what I want.
My desire to surprise, to confuse people, to be irreverent and push outside the lines. Andy Kaufman had a divine spark, just like, I call it the Grail. I think everybody has it, but some people let it die, and Andy had that.
Bye. Bye. It was nice meeting you and all.
Who wants to spend that much time with someone only to find out that she's a stranger? Basically, a year before we started, I was brokenhearted out of my mind, and he looked at me and he said, "You're so beautiful," and I went, "Oh, well, thank you." I don't know, I'm crying, and he said, "Don't get well. We're not shooting for another year. Don't get well." I need your loving. And I'd, you know, kind of gotten over it and everything else, but, you know, fortunately I have a good memory for pain. So I was able to pick the scab and bleed again.
Are you in charge here?
Yes, I am.
Nope!
I'm
Wrong. I'm in charge.
Allow me to clarify.
A different villain than him. I'm a big fan of Jekyll and Hyde, that concept. I think we're seeing it in the world right now. We're seeing that there's a monster right below the skin. If you give him a little bit of room and you tell him it's okay to be a monster, you're gonna see the monster come out, you know? And that story has always fascinated me, because we all have Hyde inside us. If people like this, you know, I don't know, if people like it, then you know, next year you see kids dressing up on Halloween, you know, and I get such a kick out of it. Honestly, it just is, it's so gratifying. I know through experience that I've had like 3 decades of, you know, people growing up and coming to me and saying, you know, I grew up with Ace Ventura. Or I grew up with The Mask, and still, you know, people in rap videos dressing up like The Mask. The little kid can come up to me and might not know me from Adam, but I do the Grinch. And they go crazy, you know, and then they're told he's really the Grinch.